What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the stream. This is Quan Fowler coming to you today for a live stream. And I am going to shed a little bit and I'll share a little bit. I have a fantastic, I got a fantastic word of encouragement this morning. And wanted to share it with you because it puts everything into perspective when you let excellence transform you. And man, it was encouraging. It was very encouraging. So what's going on out there? What's happening? Welcome to the stream. I'm keeping playing. I'm trying to do these streams daily, and I want to share it as well daily. We let time slip by us. We'll get to thinking about things, and before you know it, 30 minutes pass. You just going through reels or going through shorts, and that time just passed you by, and you're not practicing. I was telling one of the people in our free community, you know, because he was talking about when he gets home from work, he just chills and not really practicing. He knows he needs to. And the thing about it, you know, you feel better having practiced, and you know that you got that time in for that day, and you feel better. It's kind of like if you think about working out, where of course we don't feel like huffing and puffing and lifting that weight or running or doing whatever it is. It puts a strain on us. It makes us feel uncomfortable. But if you go ahead and do it after you've done it, you feel better. Then on top of that, you benefit from it. Like your body benefits from moving and having your cells able to restore themselves by just going ahead and working. And your brain cells, when you practice, like you're exercising your brain, it's such a therapeutic thing to do when you practice, because you're exercising your motor cortex with your fingers, your audio cortex with your ears, and also your visual cortex. And it's just neuroplasticity. Whenever you learn something new, you're creating new neural circuitry. So it's very good, very stimulating to practice. And that's why I make it a point to do it. And I haven't been until within the last week or so practicing every day. And I was telling my students that, you know, they help me to be accountable because I have to be prepared and be ready to give them stuff. And you know, it keeps me on it. And the thing about it, here you go, like once you get into it, it feels so good. It's like it's so much to explore and learn. And that's what I was talking about on Tuesday in our jazz improvisation class. I was just saying, you know, because we've been going over certain things with them, like when I play my gigs, it's showing up. It's showing up my fluency, and then just feeling comfortable. And that's what happened. That kind of goes into what I was talking about yesterday with skill, what you get from practicing and skill. So I wanted to share something with you all real quick before I get into my shedding. All right, so this is what I put. I put this on Facebook. If you're not a friend of mine on Facebook, my personal Facebook, you can go to my music page there. It's Texas Tenor Music. But yeah, it's Quan Fowler, educator, musician and educator. But on my personal profile, I'm maxed out. I can't get any more friends. But anyway, I posted a nugget on being excellent. And it says, stop pretending to be serious about things you only half-heartedly pursue. Put in the work so it transform you into the person God can work through. Ooh, that's powerful. Look at that, y'all. Quit being half-heartedly doing things. Quit doing things half-heartedly. Go ahead and commit to it. Put in that work so it can transform you into who God can use and work through. That's the thing. It's like unanimous. It's what do you call it? It's like ununanimous or unanimous decision, or you know how you see those people or you hear those people, or you meet somebody, you say, man, they got it, like hands down. They just on another level, or they on a category all by themselves. And that's because they put in the work, they put in the time. And it's people, you can think about that on one hand. And it's, I'm talking about those people who do things at a master level, who do things to where you just know that they own something else. And that's really what it comes down to. For whatever we do, we got to go ahead and commit to it so that God can use us. You can't be halfway. You can't be, inconsistent. You can't be mediocre. I keep saying that wrong. Mediocre or average. You know what I'm saying? You ought to receive the fullness of what God has called you to and go ahead and commit to it. Because even with the music business, for instance, like the system and the way about things has changed. And we're going to talk about that tonight for those people who are part of the mentorship program. We're going to talk about that and how it's changed. But the whole thing I'm saying, the old model of getting paid through selling CDs or even doing a project is different. Like, you have to create content. You have to have more assets and things going on in order to be able to monetize what you do. So it's not just about, recording, putting out a record and people pay you for that. It's not that simple anymore. So it's other components to it. So it's almost like just the same way as we're creative with our music, we have to be creative with the type of products and services we offer. And this is something that I've always talked about for years. But anyway, so it's like you have to go all in and commit to what you're doing so that you can let the excellence transform you into being influential. And so for people who are influential, you can leverage, the attention that you're getting in so many different ways. So it's a deeper understanding that you have to have as a musician if you're really serious. And not just a musician, like whatever you do, you got to max it out. You got to go to the top level so that there won't be any competition. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens when you commit to excellence. And so Colossians 3:23 and 24, it says, and whatsoever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord, and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward. You shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for you serve the Lord Christ. So that's the thing. It's like we're not, when you focus on like what you're doing and you're doing it as unto the Lord, then it's going to supersede all of the superficial acclaim, notoriety, what people think, and you being a part of this community or whatever. You know, you're going to supersede all of that, and you're going to let the desires of your heart, the ones God given, you're going to let those things push you, your passion and everything, let it push you to keep doing what you do. And so God will actually give you, he'll reward you. But the thing about it, I'll give you a personal testimony. And this came between yesterday and today. And this is why, you know, it really doesn't make sense in the natural in terms of when you try to stack everything when you're a musician and you're trying to make ends meet. Like, it's kind of like, you know, it's a faith walk, because if you're doing things with good intentions, good energy, and you're making sure you're giving, I talked about this, you're giving, you're praying, you're fasting. And if you're doing that vertically, like, God is going to honor that, because your focus and everything is lining up right. It's like, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. See, when you get to talking or operating in that, you're opening up heaven. You're opening up God's provision and his blessing. And so that stuff that people don't see or people don't understand, they will see the result of it, but they don't understand. So when you talk to people and you tell people who don't have a relationship with them, or people who are struggling with going all in, it's like you really can't benefit from the rewards that you get from being obedient until you be obedient yourself. So, like practicing, I can't tell you how I was inspired and motivated. It was an internal thing. It was something like spiritual thing. I wanted to practice. I wanted to learn how to get around on the instrument so that it could transform me into who I needed to be in order for God to work through me. Kind of like what my testimony was when I was telling you when I was at school, going to Southern, I lived in an apartment in Baton Rouge by LSU. So I stayed in an apartment and I was practicing, and I got that whole revelation that the same way how I use the saxophone, when people hear me play the saxophone, of course, you're hearing my voice. I'm using the saxophone, but you're hearing, you know, my thoughts, my spirit, my feelings, and my soul, you know what I'm saying, it's coming through this instrument. And so God was showing me, I want to use you as my instrument. And that's the thing that happens. It's kind of like when a plane is on a runway and it's going, and once it click all those buttons and it's hit the right speed, at a certain point, it's going to take flight. It's going to lift off and be going, and it's like the point of no return. It's like you in the air now. And so that's kind of what happens with your development. And like when you pursue excellence, it's like you'll be on the ground, and people's opinion, people trying to figure it out. You having identity issues, and you know, maybe you should try this, maybe you should do this, maybe you should play this gig, maybe you should try this style, or maybe you should go to this school, or maybe you should learn from this person. Like, it's all the noise. But when you lock in to your purpose and excellence, and you just commit to it, and you keep showing up, what'll happen is you'll take flight. You'll get into that zone, and then you'll find your voice. You'll find yourself, and then you'll find your assignment. You'll find everything. And then at that point, there's no competition. There's no competition because there's only one you. And we don't know what that looks like. And I didn't, but I knew that I was interested in following God and staying on the track. I didn't want to get into all of these other things. I've been around the world. I've played with different people. I've seen a lot of different things. And so once you've done that and you see that, man, I'm just wanting to stay right inside of the will of God and let Him to unfold my life and how I'm going to do it, and then He'll give you provision. There's another scripture, Deuteronomy 8:18 says, "For remember the Lord thy God, for it is He that giveth thee power to gain wealth, and as He swore unto our fathers, even as it is this day." So the power, He's giving you the ability to get wealth. So power is the ability to do work. And so He'll give you ideas, and then with those ideas, you got to work those ideas to bring them to pass. So it's like faith and works. Like, you should know a person's faith by the works. I can talk about it all day, but if I'm not doing it, when you hear me play, if you don't hear the truth, or you hear me fluffing and jiving, then you know that, I don't have the fruit. But when you hear me play, or when you hear me speak, or whatever, when you can feel the conviction and you can see the results in my life, my family, my wife, my kids, that's where the fruit should be shown. You know what I'm saying? So because my focus is vertical and I'm thinking about, taking care of my family, being rightly aligned, then it unlocks God's provision, God's protection, and it has nothing to do with superficial things, what people think. You don't have to be insecure. You can be secure even when people are not calling you for stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because when God gives you something, it's like you get so busy working on what He's given you and trying to be better and better communicate, where that's all you're concerned with. And I know that He'll take care of me. So I was saying the testimony, somebody hit me up and wanted me to play for their wedding. And so, I threw a price out there, and they was like, great, somebody else is going to donate that so that, so that you can come and play for us. And I was like, okay, cool, And so stuff happens. And it's like you don't even know where it comes, how it's going to come. And you just got to keep your eyes on Him. It's like, if we can focus on the things that we can change, and that's ourselves, we can change, we can be better. We just got to apply these principles. And like I say, be consistent, and then you will be transformed into who you need to be. But you just got to trust the process. Even if you sound terrible, even if your speaking and communication is terrible, or if you don't know how to work technology and all of that. Like, if you got the faith and you believe it, if you receive it and you act like that, act like the end, even though you don't have the money, you don't have all the equipment or whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you just keep showing up, pursuing it, this is what I did as a kid. Like, I was recording myself, I was practicing, I was transcribing, I was writing music, I was playing, performing. I was doing all of those things. And all of that I did cultivated. It was something that nurtured. It was a way that I was able to nurture my ability and my talent. And then it cultivated what was inside of me. And so it made everything better. That's why I recorded everything, because I would go back and listen to myself, and I would critique myself. I'm my own worst critique, because I'm always trying to do things better, with my communication, with my band. And so there's always something that you can work on to get better at. And so when you focus all your energy, let's say as a musician on your instrument, you focus a lot of mental real estate and time into communicating better on the instrument. And there's so much that you can do. Stylistically, you can do things. You can learn different songs. You can explore different keys. So it's like a world in itself, but it's a tool that is a schoolmaster, which actually teaches you so many good principles that you can apply to the other areas in your life. And that's one of those God moments or epiphany moments, because he'll let you pursue a career or get better on an instrument, but then you'll get a revelation later after you've matured and you've accomplished certain, areas of success in that particular area. Then he'll show you, give you revelations on how you can use that same mindset to apply to other areas so that you can be a better leader or administrator or whatever it is that you're doing. And so you take it to that next level. And there's so many things that I have to learn and grow in, especially when you're talking about business. And there's certain principles and things that I need to apply to my life so that my business can grow. So I'm always learning, but I take where I am right now and I work with that. And I, give this information to you. This is part of my checklist to give. And so as I pour into you, you're affected. Your mind is getting sharpened, just from following the channel, and you're getting inspired. So I'm being fruitful. So as long as I keep it up and I'm getting better and I'm trying to apply the things that I'm learning, then everything is all good. God is pleased. He's working on me, and we just pursuing excellence to allow it to transform us.